Hey, how are you all doing today? I have to say, man, it's just getting crazy out there. I know I keep talking about this over the past couple of dozen podcasts I've had, but I gotta say, we need a better system, a better financial system, because right now we're seeing Gen Z, millennials, even younger generations just give up, completely just give up and say, you know what? I'm just not going to even try to buy a house. I'm just gonna travel and I'm done. I'm just giving up. And I know that giving up isn't the right answer, but I see why people do it. Because even if right now you make $100,000 a year, you can maybe put money down on a house, not even 20%. It's really hard to save up to 20% on the average house in the United States right now. So average house, at least in Arizona, is about 450 to 500. Who has 125,000 liquid laying around? Not many. And I was just on X the other day, and I was just on a few other platforms, and I saw that Warren Buffett was found front running investors. And I saw other cases of this happening as well. And we're seeing it also with senators and congressmen that make 175K a year and they're worth several $100 million. How does that happen? And how can we change this system that's completely broken? And I actually, in my belief, is it's all a function of fiat. It's all a function of the fiat currency that we have and those that are closer to the money printer. And what I'm trying to think about is, okay, how do you unwind this fiat system? Because there's a lot of people that have a lot invested and banked on keeping it propped up and keeping it going. I mean, if you just think about it, think about the baby boomers. And partially, I'm not going to completely blame it on them, but in large part, a lot of these problems we're seeing right now are actually due to baby boomers hollowing out the system. And, you know, I just think it worked for them, the fiat system. They're very rich, they have a lot of money, they're worth more than you can possibly imagine. But what about the future generations? What about the future generations they're saddling with debt and creating policies that they're going to be long gone by the time we see the consequences of those. And so we need to unwind this, but how do we do that effectively? Homes right now, I'm just looking at the homes. I mean, I can talk, there's so many different areas that I can talk about, but homes right now are all 40% overpriced. I'm looking at Arizona. I can look at other places in the US, but they're about 40% overpriced. They're sitting vacant. There's these homes and they're just sitting vacant for months and months. And I saw some that were for like 8, 9, 10 months. And they're just vacant the entire time, sitting listing, and you can just see the prices decrease 5, 10 grand every single month. And I just look at this and I'm like, there's homeless people, right? So if you look at me, I have I stay at a $225,000 one bed, one bath. Well, what if I can't afford to move up to a single family home? So maybe there's a homeless guy out there that doesn't have his ladder up because I can't take my ladder up. Picture this on a bigger scale. And I just find it really sad because people they just treat these homes like investments. And don't get me wrong, I'm a free market capitalist. I want the free market to exist. I don't want, the government to say what we can and can't do. That's socialism, right? But there's a time where it becomes crony, and in my opinion, it becomes crony under the fiat standard. And so, like, we're allowing hedge funds to compete against single families for homes. That's not the America that we envisioned. It makes you want to, and if it continues like this, and you're staying here, and yeah, you got to fight for your country, but I see many people leaving. They're going to other places around the world because they know, wait a second, the American dream is dead. It does not exist anymore. You're either poor or you're rich. And if I'm not rich, well, I'm going to go somewhere else. And you see this kind of mindset with a lot of people, and I just find it really disheartening because at the end of the day, all of us just want a better lives for ourselves. All of us just want to move towards something that we can a place where we can call home, maybe have kids, maybe have a dog. Well, even if I could buy, let's just say I have a couple 100,000, put it down. Well, I'm getting taxed to no end. I have high HOA fees. I have, there's just a lot of things. So I think the bottom line is this: the incentive structures are broken across the entire country right now because of fiat. The healthcare, it's broken. I got a $4,000 COVID test way back when. All types of insurance, you're paying a huge premium and you're not getting the benefits. You're getting questioned. You're treated like the enemy. Same thing with HOAs and taxation. I mean, the list goes on and on. And the saddest part about all this, guys, is short-term gambling is incentivized over long-term prudent investing. Well, what does that mean? Well, you see so many people right now trading options, buying meme coins, just going like off the rails with things that don't make any sense. But you almost don't blame them because you know that the system isn't working for them. So they need to do whatever degenerate activity they can to try to perform and keep up with the Joneses, right? And that's just so sad to see, because it's like, why can't you just put your money or put something in a hard money that won't go down tremendously in value over time? What is so hard to ask about that? Like, what's so hard to ask? That's been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. And now, because of how expensive things are getting and how crappy our currency is, we're starting to see people just take outsized risks because they know, wait a second, I'm going to get screwed here if I play it safe. If I keep it in bonds and treasuries, I keep it in dividend stocks, I'm just going to underperform. Might as well throw it at any buzzword I can possibly imagine because, hey, that's the world we live in, right? Just gambling, high time preference behavior, and high time preference thinking. And we're just going to have this society of goons. And it's just sad to see. So I think we need to create a society of long-term thinking, not those chasing fiat gains. We need a long-term approach. And, it's really sad because I see a real decline. I mean, you don't have to look far. You can look all around you. And you can just kind of see a real decline in what's on their faces and their attitudes and their societal views. And the question is, can this get better? What can we do to make this a better world for everyone, not just those who are connected to BlackRock and other private equity firms? And I think we need to advocate for free markets. We need to advocate for hard money. And we need to be there to think about, hey, what do we want this new system to look like? From my views, I've spent tens of thousands of hours studying the Bitcoin white paper. I think Bitcoin is the answer. But I'll tell you this, even if I'm wrong about Bitcoin, we need something else. We need something else. We cannot continue down this fiat currency regime, perpetually. We're long overdue for it to be collapsed and replaced. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of people are getting hurt by fiat. Mainly, it's the bottom 50% of society. Really, it is. It's not the top 1%, 5, 10, 50. It's not them. It's the bottom 50%. They get hurt the most with inflation because they don't hold assets. So overall, I think Bitcoin can fix all these avenues. From front running, you can't front run on a transparent ledger, right? It's Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ledger is not something that can be hidden. You can easily research what Warren Buffett's doing and Nancy Pelosi are doing, right? So it's going to get rid of those two problems I mentioned. As for homes, people aren't going to buy second, third, and fourth properties just because of capital appreciation. They're going to realize that, hey, why would I have my money in all these assets when they're getting demonetized by Bitcoin? Or why would I have my money in all these assets when I don't pay capital gains tax or long-term holding tax by holding Bitcoin when I do have to pay yearly taxes on my mortgage or my house, right? So you're going to see people start to move out of assets like that. And you're going to also see situations where the incentives are fixed. Like I mentioned, healthcare, I had that test that was thousands of dollars. You're not going to see companies structuring bad deals like that, or even auto care, because their incentives will be aligned to optimize their Bitcoin holdings rather than chasing the fiat hungry money machine. Especially it's on the ledger, right? It's on the ledger. You can't hide from it. And I'm not saying it's like a Panopticon or something where you can find anything. It's pseudonymous, but the things that really matter, people will want to do right. And, the last thing is the gambling and, the society of people chasing these fiat gains. And hey, look, I like throwing money at the casino once in a while. But I'll tell you this, for people to do it with their life savings week after week, month after month, there's something wrong with that. I mean, you work a year for, you see it all the time on Wall Street Bets. You see someone work a year, they save up 50 grand, 100 grand, they throw it in some option. You'll see one person, maybe 5 people, hit their options, they'll make millions. You'll see 95, 99% lose it all. And it's sad. It's just so sad to see that people are just willing to lose it all because they don't see another way out. And so, I genuinely think Bitcoin will fix this, because throughout all time, we had a hard money, and that was gold and silver, copper, and we would put our money in there, and essentially, it would go up, the value would nominally go up over time, but also your purchasing power would become stronger. So you can get more bang for your buck over time. Now, people are in a rush to take out loans and to take out credit and debt because they know tomorrow their fiat will be worth 5-10% less. Why not go into debt? That's shorting the dollar. Hey, you want to short the dollar? Take out debt. It's this big problem we have, and there has to be a way to change this. And I don't think it's going to change necessarily from the inside. I think it'll change if Bitcoin succeeds or something else happens. But my bet personally is on Bitcoin. But we'll see. We don't know. I could be wrong. But I'm very confident in it that that's where I choose to position myself over the long term. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think we can have a better system than this? Do you guys think a return to the gold standard would be better, or silver, or something like that? Or what are you guys' thoughts about like the politicians and Warren Buffett, and, having hundreds of millions of dollars and only making like $175,000 a year? Or what are your thoughts on the incentive structures? I just want to hear all your thoughts below. And again, if you guys like this podcast or this video, please be sure to send it around, send it to friends. It means a lot. That's the only payment I need for this. I genuinely love this, and I'm going to keep trying to deliver the best content possible, because it is my strong belief that we could approach a better monetary system in the future. And I want to be there for it. I want to be there educating on it. And at the end of the day, things are broken now, and it's important to speak up. It's important to call it out, call a spade, and say, no, we've had enough. We need to move to something better. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. Satsmate is out.